Hello everybody and welcome to yet another little editorial. Now I have all the top 5 for the worst Pokemon of each generation set up already. You'll expect more of that within the days to come, and I also am going to be making more top whatever lists for anime and video games, and also of course, Pokemon. But enough of that, a bit more of the topic at hand. As Fun as Freddy 4 has been released, and there's been a little bit of news sort of about the Halloween update. Although who knows when Scott will actually release it, because you can never really know what time this guy's going to release anything. It's got me thinking about the debate that people usually have about this series. Is it good or bad? Um, People always like to harp on it because even though it was like really, I should say, blown up in popularity when it first came out, it was usually seen as more like YouTube fodder. Like, oh, every YouTuber's gonna play this game now. And everyone pretty much did, and everyone played every single game they come with. And of course, as 4 games in a single year, the value and I should say the spark of it kind of died out pretty fast. I mean, like the first one I think is a legitimately pretty well constructed game. So I'm gonna go ahead and say this series as a whole is not bad, and here's why. Now, don't get me wrong, jump scares aren't always scary. There's sort of a build up to them, and when you first play these games, they're scary. The jump scares are scary, usually, unless you're like playing all of them in a row, then it's kind of desensitizing you. But they do legitimately scare you, generally at first. At least the first one did. It should have, unless you're not like pro Jared or something, and you're not getting scared by video game or by horror games. And yeah, but I feel like these games do a pretty good job at creating a surreal and horrifying atmosphere. They show like what we fear the most, which is the fact that no matter what we do, we can't fight off inevitable death. Basically, that's what it is, because you're surviving infinitely until you die. That's pretty much the game. And if you think about it that way, it's tapping into a bit of horror that's usually not tapped into. Usually it's just scary imagery and stuff. And sure it is, but I think it's just the way it's presented. Like, it's not usually how a horror game is shown. Like, usually you have the ability to move around. But in this one, you're basically just looking at cameras or checking doors. And that is completely different to a lot of games, actually. Generally, in a video game, you're not stationary. But in this one, that's one of the main mechanics of it. And I think it does a pretty good job. Now, I'm a fan of complicated and interesting stories, and I love the paranormal. I love all that stuff. I love. I wanted. I used to research ghosts and take pictures of them. I'm probably gonna do that again at some points. I like to visit haunted areas. I like to research all this stuff. I have like 5 or 6 books on this kind of crap with ghosts and stuff, and I'm a heavy believer in ghosts. So I generally like these kind of stories, and I think even though the Final Freddy's story is extremely hard to follow and is very complicated, probably more so than the Legend of Zelda timeline. Yeah, that's hard to top, but even so, I still find myself, when it first came out, I found myself getting wrapped up and enjoying it for how creepy it was. Like, legitimately creepy. Almost like a creepypasta, but done much, much better. Like an official a damn official game instead of just a creepypasta, just a story. It's a story with a game behind it and plenty of imagery, which I think works to its favor. And as for the imagery goes, I think the designs can be quite good. And I'm not going to say these games are perfect. I'm not going to say each game is totally different from the last one. No, there's anything to get a bit repetitive, especially as you continue to play them and try to beat them 100%. Um, I don't think any of the games are bad though. Overrated? Oh hell yes, they're definitely overrated. But what isn't really? What? Name a game that people really, really, really love, and most people know about that isn't overrated. It's probably not nearly as good as maybe not nearly, but not as good as people see it is. I overrate games all the time, but oh well. I still don't think they're bad games. They still do what they're set out to do, which is, make you creeped out or scared. And I think they do a pretty good job at that. The games are not perfect. The games are not for everyone, I think. They're definitely YouTube fodder. They come out too fast. But you know what? For my final rating, I guess, I think they're alright. I don't hate them. I don't love them. But I do admit they do their job quite well. And sure, horror games do rely on jump scares a lot, but you can't really just blame this one. They were doing that a lot before, and they're going to do it a lot again in the future. At least this one was a bit more surreal. I guess. Oh well. If you like this video, make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out my other videos. Also, make sure to check out my supporters, all that great stuff, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out, suckers.